What's good? It's your boy BG. We back with the boxing politic. Today we're gonna talk about Showtime's released their new schedule, their boxing schedule, and be honest, they shitting on everybody else right now. So be sure to like and subscribe as you come in. Check out the video, share it with a friend. Make sure we can expand the channel, get more of this boxing conversation going on. All right. So back to the topic at hand. Showtime has released their boxing schedule, and comparative to what we hear with the Zone, how they're doing their it's supposed to be a fight in Tulsa, Oklahoma, or something like that, an outdoor fight. I can't recall off the top of the head who will be fighting. A lot of the fights we've seen with Top Rank have been kind of mismatches in this time period. They've had Shakur Stevenson made a return. He dominated. They've used the time as like a showcase fights for Jared Anderson, the new big baby, and well, the real big baby. That's what they call him. So we've been seeing those level of fights, but with Showtime is coming out with the PBC, of course, they're bringing on some of the more heavy hitters. We got um, just looking at the list. Let me go back to it. We got some interesting matchups. It starts off like in September 1st, but those are the lower level fights. What we really see when we see the good fights coming back is that double header pay per view with Jamal and Jamil, the Charlo brothers coming back. A unification fight with Jamil Charlo. Really think that should be the main event this time. Last time Jamal was the main event, and he was fighting similar opposition to he is now. Matt Korobov and Sergey Derevyanchenko, I would say, are about the same level. But this fight with Jamil, it has a lot more at stake, and this being their first pay-per-view, they're doing it together, everything like that. I think is gonna be a pretty big show, and just seeing how they're being put together again, really it's really interesting seeing that they were gonna put them together again after what happened last time, and how one fighter's the loss that Jamel took to Tony Harrison kind of affected his brother's performance in the main event. So me personally, I keep them away from each other. Let them support each other from the sidelines. Let one be in the other's corner. But they're really playing the twin angle where they have to do everything at the same time, and this isn't that. They have their own identities in the ring, outside the ring, and their events. Both of them can put on the show, so there's no need for both of them to be on the pay-per-view together. But I'm not going to complain about it because I got two high-level fights coming up in September, so that's definitely pay-per-view worthy, and it's a great return to boxing. I think they are learning a little bit from like the UFC. The UFC is putting on huge fights in the meantime. They can't get the crowd money, but they're trying to make up for it with the pay-per-view money. And the others aren't going to get the viewership the same way, so you might as well use that deep roster and expand. The next big fight on there, I like the Sergey Lipinets fight that they have versus, I'm going to butcher this dude's name, it's like Kudratillo Abdulkahorov, some kid out of Uzbekistan. I don't know what it is with these Eastern Europeans. They're really trying to force them on us. But it looks like a good fight. The Abdul, I'm not Quadrito. I'm not getting that name right, so I'm not even gonna try with that. I think his nickname is the Punisher, so we'll call him that. He has a strong record, undefeated. Biggest win to date is Luis Collazo. So you can take what you want with that, but he looks pretty sharp. It's a good matchup for Lipinets. It's a good return bout. And then the next on the list that they have is Tank Davis versus Leo Santa Cruz, another pay-per-view event. And I expect Tank to dog walk him. I don't think he's just seeing what he did with Red Cash, seeing what he's done to other fighters in that weight class. Like at 130, Tank earns that name. Like he's just that. He's gonna walk through him, and has great defense, extremely explosive. I believe the event's in October, so knowing that it's happening now is we're getting close to August, so he has a few months to really get in shape. He didn't look too far out of shape. Dude was like a little chubby, but that's just him by nature. He's gonna be able to uh, make weight to make as close as he wants to the weight to where he feels good, and he's gonna come in and he's gonna do damage. So we have high level fights. They're putting in their bigger name fighters, stuff that we're not seeing with the other guys. I mean, Shakur, I think he's a big name fighter, and you can still pay him mid hundred thousands. You know what I'm saying? 500K, 400K, something like that. So he's making more than me. So I'm not, I can't say he's not making a lot, but he's making not. I wouldn't say it's comparable to like a Tank or the Charlos or anything like that. So they're putting on some of their mid level, or for top rank, he's not gonna get what like Terrence Crawford or somebody's getting, but they can afford to put these fights on. PBC is affording to put these fights on, and it seems like top rank can't. So seeing that, it's just they have the deep roster and the deep pockets, and they're really putting that to use. And this is the time because really with them being able to put on events and then other fighters seeing what they get, you're gonna see who's gonna come out of this the strongest. Just like the rich get richer, the big get bigger, and that's what we're seeing in boxing. Like the biggest name in boxing, the biggest promotion with the most fighters and the best fighters is gonna come out of this the strongest, and that's not. I mean, that's definitely not the zone, and ESPN isn't at a point it can compete because it's relying on top rank, and top rank can't make their money if they put on a big fight and don't have the crowds there. But somehow they've worked it out, and that's another point I want to get to. It's funny that the PBC, as we saw last year, they were much more heavily invested in Fox. A lot of their energy went to building up that Fox platform, getting the biggest pay-per-views on Fox, the Wilders pay-per-views, the Wilder pay-per-views, the uh, the Spence pay-per-views, the I believe Pacquiao was on that was on Showtime. The first Pacquiao with Broner, but the other one was on Fox with Thurman. So their biggest fights, they really invested there. And now, since we're in this new COVID environment, um, the one they choose to really test the waters with is Showtime. They decided that Showtime is how we're gonna test things out. If things don't work right, we'll learn our lessons here, and then we'll take the lessons that we learned and go over to Fox. That's the way I believe it's working out. They didn't want to ruin that Fox money, but in the Showtime they'll deal with. It's still an opportunity from Showtime because they get to see if they can win during this time. It really sets them up as a premier face in boxing because there was some doubt with ESPN coming in. We heard Eddie Hearn saying that he was saying that Showtime was going to be out the game. Showtime was going to be out shortly after HBO got out. It's past the I don't get why he said that. It's past that premiere like premiere television or subscription based when his whole method of doing business in the States is subscription based. So I wasn't getting that, but there was appearing to be some evidence that he was correct, but it looks like it's switching up. Well, at least they had the opportunity for it to switch up if they handle this correctly. Uh, I think they'll be able to do so with the Charlo fight. You got two headline events. You can play it off as the last time that happened. There was a loss and everything like that. Bring the intrigue and really just push that boxing is really back. Big time boxing is back. And you get these guys, they first pay-per-views, they're gonna really show out to make an event out of it, make the promotion out of it. So it's a good thing. And yeah, I don't know how the other guys are gonna compete at this time. Just like they forced them like PBC, Heyman forced the others to step up their game as it comes to paying fighters. They now have to step up their game as it comes to putting on events, because PBC events is really just smashing on them right now, just based on what we see. So we'll see how they adapt, and hopefully we get a lot of good out of each of them. Competition sometimes ends up good for the consumer, and that's us. So let's hope we see something good out of it, see things change. Looks like boxing's back. There was a lot of doubt, but even in the worst phases of this pandemic, it looked like boxing is coming back. But yeah, this been your boy BG with the Boxing Politic. Thanks for watching. Thanks for watching to the end. Remember to like, share, subscribe. Push this out to folks, man. We're gonna stay consistent, putting out shows daily, and y'all stay tuned. Peace.